Hey everybody! It's episode 12 of The Guardians. You guys should know us by now. I'm Veritech and I'm joined here by my lovely co-host Azax Tifa Please and Conchu. Unfortunately, we are under the impression that One Eye got DDoSed by the North Koreans while we were playing Overwatch earlier. So he is currently getting his PC fixed. So Conchu, because he's the super sub, is filling in, and next week he's probably going to fill in for me because I'm going to get sick. You're calling it now. Um, but like I said, I'm Veritech. We're here, episode 12, Overwatch. Overwatch news, lots of it. It's the last week before the closed beta shuts down, and we are going to have 8 days of darkness before the open beta starts up, and everybody can play. So if you guys haven't pre-ordered your copy of Overwatch yet, do so now. You'll get to come back when it comes back up May 3rd and play with us. It will be epic. So anyways, guys, Azax, we'll start with you. How has your week been? How was your week? What did you do that was spectacular?
Well, Friday night I had a dedicated Overwatch night with a friend, trying to teach them how to play the game and playing against some new players, and that was really fun. Just experiencing the craziness of the open beta, the beta weekend. Just so many new players, so bad things. I did a lot of good stuff, and a lot of plays in the game, so it was pretty fun.
Nice.
And then I did just play a little bit of McCree, the McCree Brawl earlier, and oh my god, that Brawl is insane. Beyond that, it's just been school and work.
Very nice, very nice. Tifa, it's been a couple weeks since you've been on the show. What have you been up to? I know that there's some stuff that you've been talking about behind the scenes that you've been working on, but how's your week been?
Oh yeah. So actually, some exciting news this week. I've been working on conceptualizing an Overwatch tournament for my work, esports arena, and it's been a lot of fun just coming up with the rule set and stuff because there's the great debate between stopwatch versus scoring systems and competitive ranked. Maybe we'll talk about that later, but yeah. So I can't really say when exactly it will be yet, but we did want to be the first LAN Overwatch tournament, but unfortunately that's PAX East this weekend. So that crown is taken. But I'm still really excited about making this tournament, and yeah, lot of exciting things coming up for Overwatch.
Awesome, and we're excited to see how that LAN tournament's going to turn out because it's right after the official launch, and I know a couple of us are going to try and come out for the launch if at all possible. So we might even be there in person. You never know, but we'll see. But it's exciting. Like you were talking about it, and I'm like, oh, hype! So it's awesome, and we'll definitely stay tuned. Conchu, man, we talk like every day, but for those of you who don't talk to Conchu every day like me, how has your week been? Like, what have you been up to?
Well, I'd like to say that I was in a dark corner, crawled into a bundle, crying for an entire week because my esport team disbanded. We'll be talking about more about that later. But other than that, I, like everybody else, was dove right into the not open beta, but the expanded beta test or stress test. And I was both shocked and disappointed. One part was shocked because there was a wide range of different kind of quality players. It was some of the not so good people that were just running around and you're like, no, just don't ever do that. And then there's those people you're like, you're a level 7 and you're ripping through entire teams of 100 pluses like it was butter. I'm like, where did you come from? Then there was some things in there that I was like cringing that it seemed like they gave us a very different game. So I don't know how I felt about the impression it gave everybody else because there was some pretty hefty bugs right off the bat. But everything got smoothed out by day 2, so it was pretty good.
Awesome. Yeah, I remember that weekend. It was like, because it was you, me, and a couple others, and we were just getting destroyed by these level 4s, and I'm like, what is going on right now? Like you're level 6,000. I'm level 90, 91 or whatever it is, and it's like these level 2s are just coming in and hey, I think I'm gonna pick Tracer, and we're chuckling oh, this is such a high skill guy. They're never gonna do well, and they go 25-0. You're like, what just happened? I think I just got wrecked. I'm not sure, but it was fun, and we're looking forward to everyone else joining in the open beta. And I've just been streaming this week and getting some stuff set up. BlizzCon ticket sales day 1. I got my ticket. hopefully you viewers at home got your tickets too, and if not, Saturday at 10 a.m. my time. My time? Is it 10 a.m. my time or 10 a.m. Pacific? One of those 10s. You'll be able to get your ticket, and if not, they're floating around, and we'll probably plug a site here in the next couple of weeks for those of you who didn't get tickets. So, but yeah, I mean, it's another exciting week for Overwatch. There's a lot of community stuff that happened. I mean, there are a couple patches, but some videos went out. GameSpot started a series on, the story of Overwatch, and if you guys want to check that out, the link to it is down in the description. And really, really good. I mean, I personally wasn't at the BlizzCon when it got announced. I was sitting in my living room, but I still remember the chills I got when Metzen got up on stage, and you could tell he was so emotional about what was about to happen. It was like this failed Project Titan that they had put almost 10 years into, and they're like, well, we're just gonna have to scrap it. And you could see as he was speaking about Overwatch, this weight just got lifted off his shoulders. And so that video series, part 1 was yesterday, part 2 came out today. I haven't had a chance to check it out yet because I was buying my Taco Bell to get the Tracer Cup for Overwatch. Here it is, beautiful Tracer Cup, but it's really good. So we'll go over that, and there's some other stuff. You can see Azax is holding his up right now too as well. But yeah, I mean, the most important thing, especially for Conchu and I, because we're daily streamers, Overwatch is shutting down for 8 days as of the 25th. They're transitioning from closed beta to open. Personally, I'm panicking a little bit because what's going to fill the void that Overwatch? I have some games I can play, but Overwatch it's essentially it feels like my 5th kid. I can't live without it. What am I going to do? So I mean, what are your guys' plans for those 8 days while Overwatch is down?
Study.
Cry. Curl up into a ball and cry my eyes out.
I don't know what Tifa's gonna do with herself. She's up on that game till 3 a.m. every night. It's just oh my god.
Yeah.
Yep, I go into work and she's in a match. I come home from work and she's in menus, but she's been idle for 2 hours, and I'm like, God, that's dedication.
Pass out at her desk. It happens all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, Conchu, I know you've probably got a little bit more of a plan because you like me, you have to have a contingency because we've seen this coming, and Overwatch is essentially our main staple. I mean, obviously, you're probably going to have some stuff up your sleeve, but how are you going to handle those 8 days of Overwatch withdrawals?
So there's been some shenanigans in the background that most people don't know that I've been putting so much extra time into. There will still be Overwatch content every day for me on my channel coming out. I've made sure to take the time to really kind of hold back some of the plays that I've been doing when I'm not streaming. I have pre-recorded content, so there'll be a lot of video on demand content that I'll be able to put in the spotlight some other games that I've been kind of neglecting and getting through. So there won't be any shortage of fun. Definitely we'll be keeping some cool Overwatch stuff coming. So
outstanding. Nice. I think you and I were talking about it in between closed beta and open beta, and then open beta to launch. There's something like 32 days of no Overwatch, or you're going to need 32 pieces of content. Yeah, you have fun with that. I think I might be able to get a week's worth of content in between, just because I don't have time. I stream it, and then when I'm not streaming it, I'm talking about streaming it. So I'm definitely going to be referring people to your channel because you are going to be the place to get your Overwatch fix while the betas are down. So. But awesome. Well, I mean, like I said, we have a lot of other stuff we have to cover. Make sure you guys, if you haven't done so already, pre-purchase your copy of Overwatch. You have until the 29th, so you have until next Friday to get it. But in doing so, you get into the open beta 2 days early, and you have that satisfaction of knowing, holy crap, I have Overwatch. I can exhale. It's not one of those oversalt where, well, we don't even know, is there a round of invites going out? When is this gonna you have an end date? You'll be able to play the 3rd of May, so you can get hyped about that. So
or enter our giveaway.
Yeah, and we will be plugging that at the end of the show too because it's still running. It's still running. Thank you, Tifa.
I'm really lucky in that I'm buying it from my nephew who lives in Africa, and I'm gonna send him a PS4 copy. And so I'm going to steal one of his open beta codes because I'm going to buy it physically closer to launch. And then after that, we'll see. It's going to be a couple weeks. Luckily for me, it'll be final, so I'll be a little bit busy. Won't be able to realize Overwatch is gone. But then finals ends the week Overwatch comes out, so it's just like perfect timing to play a shit ton of Overwatch.
Yeah. Yeah, and then once the game comes back up in open beta, Jeff Kaplan, the game director, like the head guy, came out and said, the patches aren't going to be as drastic as they were during closed beta, especially because during open beta you only have 6 days that you're going to play. But they don't want the game to get stale, but they also don't want to disrupt people because they want to kind of give the masses more of like, this is what the game is. The stress test weekend, there were only 3 maps. Competitive and weekend brawl or weekly brawl were disabled, so people didn't really get like the full game. And a lot of people on the subreddit were theorizing, well, I don't think we got the full game, and it's like, well, no, you didn't. I mean, you were getting the full maps. You got Hanamura, Route 66, and a third one is escaping me right now, Nepal. But other than that, there's 8 other maps you guys didn't get to play, so you get to play those. The patches aren't going to be as heavy. It's more just going to be tweaks and balances. So yeah, May 3rd. Cannot plug it enough. You guys need to get in here. This game is amazing. So there's going to be some other updates. There's going to be more competitive changes. Competitive is one of those thorns that everybody wants to get perfect. I myself really would want them to go to their system they had with StarCraft, because it's tried and true. Everybody else had picked up on it with bronze, silver, gold. Just do that. They're even instituting it in Heroes here very soon. Just do that. Spectator mode is going to get updated. New maps and Heroes are going to be, and again, if you buy the game, you get everything that they update for free. And there's some speculation.
That's the best part.
Yeah, and that's the best part. And there's some speculation that I'm not going to let go. We're going to cover it for a few minutes today about a potential new hero, and so you guys are in for a treat, because I'm like a dog. I'm like a pit bull. I got my teeth into this. I'm not going to let it go until it gets resolved. So, yeah.
Trigger warnings. Trigger warnings.
Trigger. If you guys like arguments, I'm going to make sure my voice doesn't rise too much. But PAX East is going on right now. Much like this lovely Tracer cup that's in my hands right now, full of clear liquid. You can figure out what's in it. PAX East and Overwatch is all over the place. Not only will you get to play it all weekend long, but Blizzard has teamed up with Uber, and there are, I believe, a fleet of 6 vehicles. And let me go ahead and pull that up. For those of you watching live right now, you'll get to see a picture of all of them. For those of you who are listening in, you can just Google Overwatch Uber, and you'll be able to see the pictures. But there are 3 Diva vehicles, 2 Soldier 76 vehicles, and 1 Tracer vehicle. And the Tracer vehicle, coincidentally, is a Lambo, right? So that's pretty cool. They're even
oh man,
yeah, they're even cosplaying. This is epic. I mean, guys, what do you guys think about this?
I'm sorry, but you can request this Uber watch on your Uber app, and if you're lucky enough, you'll get driven by a Tracer cosplayer in a fucking Lamborghini for free.
Yeah,
it's free. It's just wow. The Soldier 76 driver, I want that jacket so bad. I know they made
I would pay money for that jacket now.
That jacket has to be either coming with launch or at BlizzCon, because my god, just that leather 76 jacket. They did the full cosplay today, but yesterday I saw them wearing just the jacket, and I was like, oh, I need that.
Yeah. Yeah. And then,
as someone who's been a NASCAR fan all my life, I'm used to wearing goofy fucking jackets, so that's just I'm good.
Yeah.
I want it.
Yeah, and then somebody posted a picture on Twitter. This is actually one of the Divas vehicles. It can only fit one person, but it's still, you're riding around with someone cosplaying as Diva. So they took a picture of it, and there it is parked outside the convention center in Boston for PAX East. But this is an insanely cool idea. I saw this, and I got this big old... I have a grin on my face right now. Blizzard, whoever's doing marketing for this, they're a genius. You got Taco Bell, you got Uber, you got the commercials on ESPN and ESPN2 going nuts. It's everywhere. This is unbelievable.
Can I just say on the Taco Bell thing, I loved all the people on Twitter angry about it. My favorite thing was seeing it was a picture of Mercy, and it said "Heroes Never Diet."
Yeah. Yep. I mean, some people were there's an Overwatch group on Facebook that I'm a part of, and some people were making jokes for like, "Wow, open to U.S. residents only. No wonder they're all fat," because it's just like Taco Bell. Like there's no healthy option because you have to order like the largest sugariest drink to get this cup. And you can do what I did, just dump out the soda and fill it with water. I mean, whatever. Now I got
That's
this.
what I do.
Now I got this kick-ass Tracer cup. And I entered the code. I texted the code, and I didn't win Overwatch. Boo-hoo! I already have it. Who cares? But it's awesome the marketing that they're doing with this game. Like, if you weren't hyped about it now, you better get hyped because Overwatch is going to take over the world. Like, it's happening. So
I didn't want Taco Bell this week, but now I'm gonna go over it a couple times because I want to win that free copy of Overwatch and that headset that I'll probably never wear because it's Tracer themed.
yeah, I'm more interested in the Razer gear to see because those of you who are watching right now, I have a Black Widow, right? I got it for free, so I feel kind of gypped that I didn't pay for it, and they have an Overwatch version coming out, and I might have to pick up that Black Widow Overwatch edition because Conchu and I were talking about it. He said, he uses a DOS keyboard. He's like, I can just custom make my own. Like, I could make mine. I don't need to spend the money. But because I already use the keyboard and I am in love with the keyboard, why not just get the Overwatch theme? But Taco Bell isn't giving that away. That's another giveaway. Taco Bell's giving away a headset, and you get this sweet cup. And I don't know. Did they say that there's going to be more than Tracer? Isn't there like a series of 4 of them or something?
I know Winston 76. I'm not sure about a fourth one.
Yeah, I remember seeing something other than, like, I think Mercy might have been, like, the 4th one. I don't know. But, yeah, it's cool. Like, driving up to Taco Bell and seeing Overwatch, you're like, all right, like, schoolgirl
Is this
giggle.
even real life?
Right? Yeah. So that's going on. And then the other thing going on at Overwatch, if you didn't have enough Overwatch, for those of you who have ever seen or have heard of Penny Arcade, they do a lot of gamer-centric comics. They've been doing them for almost 15 years now. Like I read them when I was but a wee college student, and then when I first joined the Air Force, I read Penny Arcade. 2 of their personalities, Jumpin' Jonathan and Tantric, they have this running gag in their comics where they fight over this watch, and it's just this like gold watch, and it went back all the way like 10 years ago. Someone was like, "Oh, I got this sweet watch," and they're like, "What? I want it." And so like they got in this fight, and it ended up with one of the guys in a dumpster knocked out, and the other guy's walking away wearing the watch. So like the watch is what they're fighting for, and it's conveniently coined for the watch. And so each person is going to have their own team. It's going to happen, I think, in just under 22 hours live over on Twitch. I think PAX Arena is the URL for it. And so this grudge match, you guys aren't going to want to miss it. There's a lot of salt because this watch is obviously very, very valuable to both of these guys. And the 10 brave souls that are with them to duke it out over this watch, I wish them the best of luck, and I guarantee you it's going to be enjoyable. So if you get a chance to tomorrow, head on over to that twitch.tv/PAX Arena and check it out. It's going to be epic. So PAX East, a lot of coverage of PAX East. You guys, obviously, I think it's a great idea. You guys, I mean, all this marketing, good or bad?
Oh, I
think
love
it's
it.
great. Yeah. I think it's something that they really needed to do. Not that a lot of people who play games already know about Overwatch, but like kind of like how WoW like brought a lot of people who didn't necessarily play MMORPGs, stuff like that. I hope Overwatch gets that big.
Yeah.
That would be awesome, and that's one of the things. That's one of the things that was talked about, and we might as well just go ahead and cover it right now. It's a little bit farther in the show notes, but I'm making a command decision. GameSpot, like I said, GameSpot, they put out a 3-part series. Part 1 was dubbed The Fall of Titan. Part 2, I don't remember what it's called. I have to watch it after the podcast. But yesterday, they went in and Blizzard allowed them into the office, and they essentially talked to everybody. For those of you who are big Blizzard fans, they have been touting this Project Titan as like the next biggest thing. Like it was going to be bigger than World of Warcraft. It was going to be amazing. And somewhere along the lines, they stopped having fun, and they lost their sense of direction, and they're like, Blizzard has never failed at anything. Any title they put out, they just have this like awesome level of success.
Except for StarCraft Ghost.
That was never put out though. Like, The amount
It's still something they worked on.
I think it was like they worked on it for like 14 months, and like, yeah, this just is going to be fun. But like Titan, they put in years into this, and they're like, well, what do we do now? And so everybody that you see working on Overwatch, well, most people were working on Project Titan, and they say that the journalist who went in, they said everybody I talked to had a hand in Project Titan in one way or another. We don't know what it was because Blizzard's being closed-lipped, but this Fall of Titan video is just it's absolutely amazing, and to see Overwatch come out of those ashes, just the absolute level of passion they have for Overwatch, it gets me really excited.
It struck a chord with me because it's mostly a puff piece for marketing purposes and whatnot, but the fact of the matter is that countless hours and money went into Titan, and it was just this big, huge, sprawling idea they were trying to attain. And I think Medson's comment on it was like he felt that everyone they grabbed on their own specific little piece of Titan, and they were working on it and keeping it close to the chest, and that they feel like they got frayed and something got lost there. They weren't cohesive like they normally were, and so that Overwatch itself is a redemption story for them. All the hours, these people worked on so much, and it will never see the light of day. None of it will see the light of day, and Overwatch is what's come of that. Mm-hmm. And it's them finally getting. People worked there 5-10 years and never actually released a single product that they worked on. That's huge. To work for Blizzard Entertainment, one of the biggest gaming companies, and you worked there 5 years and never actually released a project. Mm-hmm. It's just. They talked about like how they won't talk about Titan obviously, but one of the only things that really transitioned over was Tracer, and it was just like it was a character in Titan had similar abilities to her. It's just like it shows you that she's been there from the beginning. That's why she's so key to the story. It's like she's the embodiment of Titan within Overwatch. It's an emotional video. You see all their passion and just what it took, and I'll never forget just sitting there at BlizzCon when they announced it and watching the video and just freaking out. It was a hugely emotional moment. You saw Metzen shaking, just like he knows he's about to announce the first new IP they've done in years, and he's just shaking and freaked out. And I'll never forget, I'm sitting there with my friend who worked at Blizzard once the video played, and he looks at me and my friends, he's just like, I was watching you guys doing that, and all of your jaws were on the floor. And it was a hugely emotional moment. It was so cool. It's one of my favorite BlizzCon memories.
Yeah, you could you could feel that tension just break. Like the minute one of my favorite Blizzard people, the person that I've never been able to meet at any Blizzard function I've ever gone to is Chris Metzen. So when he talks, mainly because I love Green Jesus, guys. Chris Metzen is Thrall. All right, every time he talks, I'm like, oh my god, it's Thrall, like fangirl. But just to see him up on stage and know, like, you could tell this was almost like a phoenix rising from the ashes. And he says it in the video. He's like, it was almost like that at that moment. It was like, we're back. Like, we didn't actually go anywhere, but we're back. Like, Titan was it ended up being such a huge drain that Overwatch, the amount of excitement and hype they had building it up, and then to see everybody's reaction to BlizzCon. Like I said, I wasn't there. I was sitting in my living room. You guys at home, it was up on that TV right there. Like, we had it cranked all the way up. There were 6 of us sitting around, and I remember he's like, check this out. And it was just like Overwatch, and we watched this Pixar trailer, and then we're just like, I have no idea what I just watched, but I need it in my life right now. Like, even we felt like, look at this, I'm getting goosebumps talking about it. Like, it's just one of those monumental things. And this video just brought all those feelings back. The story is absolutely awesome behind like the development and how it came to be.
Yeah, I definitely teared up a couple times watching that video, especially when Chris was talking about the 2014 BlizzCon. It was really nice to see kind of like their story and like see the cohesiveness in the company. So it was I really liked the series. It's surprising coming from a GameSpot.
Yeah, it was funny. You're watching this video and you're like, oh, so this is what journalism is all about. Like, I had almost forgotten journalism in its purest form, and it just kind of added to how awesome the video was. I feel like they really did a great justice covering this really in an unbiased light.
It's weird because it's a really in-depth piece and it's a good piece, but I mean it's mostly a puff piece, so it's kind of it borders on that line for me. But in the end, it's a good story, and it's a good project. I watched episode 2 today. We won't really cover that because they're very long episodes, like 20-25 minutes, and just there's a lot in it. But it's the passion of these people is astounding.
Yeah. And Conchu, I know you're not really like a Blizzard fanboy. I know Overwatch is kind of like you know about the other Blizzard titles, but watching that video, like, what kind of feeling did you have seeing like these guys that were working on StarCraft and Diablo and World of Warcraft, and they're like, all right, well, like we're pretty much bulletproof. Like anything we poop out turns to gold, and then to see Project Titan just like stumbles so hard and demoralize them so much, to see Overwatch, like, what kind of feeling did you get just watching this first episode?
So it's not any secret that when I first started out this Overwatch adventure, I was a zero fan of Blizzard. I actually used to make fun of Blizzard fans.
What?
And here I am eating the food now, going like, I gotta have more. But when I started to see, watching the whole trailer, not from a perspective of a Blizzard fan, but somebody who was a fan of just games. And I have tons of friends who are just game developers and stuff like that. So being able to hear, like, not necessarily, oh, here's all the hype, but here is the fears and the real raw human being aspects of the developers. Not even the games. The games have their own legacy. But hearing the legacies, the fears, and unfortunately the follies of the developers was amazing. Because you don't often get a look behind the curtain and see, there's a developer crying in the corner because they've spent 2 years on one idea and guess what? It's gone. Or in this case, 5 years, where you've worked everything you have. He mentioned, like, they're all artists, whether their specialty or field, whether it's music, background art, if it's character design, all those people put their blood, sweat, and tears into a design. To watch it go from a little itty bitty sketch to 3D model, and then watch it go to the trash can is a very hard thing. So to see them come so far, just from what I understand of their past, to see them put out a game right now that literally people will fight over. If I threw a beta code right now in the street, I guarantee you I can have at least 20 people brawling. But that to see how much hype that they're building now, they've got this next level hype going on at PAX. It just seems like I don't think they cannot go forth any further and say they did the best they could and they're not gonna not see the reward. I mean, this game looks like it actually might, and I joked with somebody, and I'm gonna put it on record, I think it will be the only game on record that if there was a WoW killer, it will be its own brand, Overwatch, because all these people are gonna get people from everywhere jumping into FPS. I really think that this game caters to all types of players, whether they can play FPSs or not. I can debate whether after that stress test weekend, but I just really loved seeing the passion that they had behind that. And it was even more interesting to see all the passion of the people reading deeper into the story, which I'll let you go ahead and segue into the next part.
Well, we're not going to. That's going to become a discussion, and so there's Blizzard is really big on doing Easter eggs. They do it like in Heroes of the Storm. People would watch these like reveal trailers, and they would watch them 6 or 7 times to see, oh my God, did they slip an Easter egg in? And there is a very blatant thing in this video, and whether it was intentional or not, it has caused a stir in the community. And I think after we cover the next couple of topics, before we get into esports, we'll cover kind of what the speculation is. But there's something in this video, and I got a screenshot for you guys, so stick around. But like I said, story of Overwatch, the first part, Fall of Titan, is link in the description. Check it out immediately after this podcast. You do not want to miss it. If you are ever a fan or were ever a fan of Blizzard or Overwatch, watch that because it is incredibly well done. There was another piece of media that was released this week in comic form. And it's centered around Jesse McCree, everyone's favorite Banff, and it was entitled Train Hopper. I had seen it, like I read it. It was kind of cool, but Azax, I think you kind of have a better idea about what it was about.
So yeah, this is all after as we know, McCree was in Overwatch. He originally started like in the Outlaw Gang, and he was in Overwatch, and then Blackwatch, the kind of spec ops segment of it, led by Reyes, aka Reaper. So this is after the Petrus Act has outlawed Overwatch and everything, and he's just riding on this like high speed rail at like 600 plus miles an hour. He's like, they won't let me on because I'm a vigilante and I'm illegal. So he's riding on top of the train, like, okay. And then all of a sudden he sees Talon agents going from helicopters and rappelling onto the train. And he's like, these guys are rappelling on a 600-mile-an-hour train. This isn't just Blackwatch tactics. These are my tactics from my playbook. And it comes down to this thing for McCree where, do I engage these people? Because if I do that, the media is going to blame me. The public's going to blame me for anything these guys do. They will see me as the enemy. But if not, they'll just kill people because it's Talon. They will just kill people. They don't take prisoners. So he decides to get engaged, and he goes into this train, shooting down all the Talon members, trying to figure out what they're doing. And in the end, he realizes they're trying to steal some artifact. And it's this like purple glowing like orb or like box, and we don't know what it does. But at the end of it, he kills all the people on the train, and he hears Talon saying that they're going to get reinforcements. So he takes the we'll call it the purple box of power or whatever, and he throws out the train. It struck this chord with me because Jesse does not care what Talon's doing. He doesn't care what their plan is or what the item even is. He just wanted to stop them from killing people on the train. And then at the end of it, the media, like, he sees a media report on the TV that he's shooting up a train. He's being charged with murder and kidnapping and all these things. And the conductor's like, "You saved us. What do you want us to tell? What do you want us to tell them?" He's like, "Tell them the truth. If they don't believe you, that's fine. Just give me a 5-minute head start so I can escape the police." And I like this. I really like this little story because it just shows. It gives it more character development to McCree. He wants to help people, and he knows he really can't, but he's willing to do it. But he's also not wanting to get involved in the overall plot that Talon's doing and what they're doing. So it's just, man, it's just a nice little character development. I liked reading it. It's a little funky to read on mobile and other ways, but I'm liking that digital comic, and I can't wait for them to put out more. It was really good.
Yeah,
What do you guys think?
I really like that they're using different mediums to promote, Overwatch. They have the shorts, now they have the comic books. Don't they have some kind of like short story too, something like that? I don't know, I could be wrong, but it's really cool that they're coming out with all these different ways to tell the story, and it just shows like the story is so fleshed out in their minds already. Like there's so much backstory. There's so much depth to each character, and we're just at the tip of the iceberg. So it makes me really excited to see like what are the other stories, the other characters as we get to know them better, stuff like that. And Blizzard is like just such. If there's one thing that Blizzard is good at, it's storytelling. They're so good at storytelling. So I'm really excited for that. And I'm also really curious to find out what that purple thing at the end of the comic was. Do you guys remember that?
Yeah.
He was like, "Oh, I guess Talon's probably gonna come back, and it's not really worth it. So I'm just going to kick this thing off and let them have it." And I kind of feel like it'll come back to bite everyone. I feel like it's probably a bad decision. But I'm really curious because we have no idea what the purple thing is.
Yeah.
Can you guys guess?
I have no idea.
It's hard to know, mostly because on all the payload maps, the actual payload is some kind of lore piece, and it's another one on top of that pile. So I'd have to see, but Overwatch was not created to be a video game. It was created to be a full-on media attack. A full-on universe and world that they weren't going to tell the story in the game. They were going to tell it through comics, through short stories, through animated videos, maybe even movies one day. And it's just, I'm all for it. I don't need the story to be in the game because the story's just so good. I like reading the comics, the videos, everything. It's just, oh man, I'm too hype right now.
The purple box is the actual reveal of the new heroes. I'm just call it now. That's what it is.
They took it straight from the video, put it in a purple box, threw it in a comic, like just to make us
What's in the
speculate.
fucking box?
What's in the box? Yeah, I have no idea. I'm gonna read the rest of the comics just so that maybe they'll shed some light on what it is. But I mean, I was talking with a friend last night at work, and he's considering going to BlizzCon. He's he went with me in 2013 and he convinced me not to go in 2014, and I'll never forgive him for that. And so I said, screw you, I went last year, and I'm trying to get him to go this year. But I was talking with him and he's like, why does an FPS need lore? Like, why does it need comment? Why does it need all this stuff? And I'm like, because it's the little things. Like, you see the interaction between like when Tracer kills Widowmaker and she goes splat, like, and then seeing alive, like seeing how Widowmaker just totally like used and abused and just outsmarted Tracer, and like seeing Gibraltar having like Winston's armor hanging up, and then you see it, in Recall, and it's like it's the little things. Like, in Blizzard is just like full on like blitz mode on, you're gonna care about this game because this is why, you're gonna care about this character because this is why, and like every media outlet that they're doing, it just I need more. Like I read it and I watch it and I'm like, I must have more. Like I play the game, I get done, I'm like, I need to play more. Like it's a very valid point you brought up, Kanju, to say the next WoW killer could very well be from the inside the own company, and I don't really think it's going to be too hard to topple World of Warcraft because it's been going on for a while, and eventually all empires, quote unquote, will fall. You've seen it throughout history, but a lot of those people might migrate over to Overwatch, and they might migrate over to whatever else gets announced. I mean, guys, this is the 25th year anniversary for Blizzard. You don't think they're gonna have something up their sleeve at BlizzCon, like Warcraft 4, Diablo 4? Like they're gonna like, it's coming. I don't know, but Overwatch, it's just this massive force. Like not only in the media but also the game itself. Like I don't know what's in the purple box, but I can't wait to find out. And Blizzard is like, they're the masters of making you want to know something that you don't really like. If I saw a purple box in any other comic, I'd be like, oh, that's purple box. But like, you see it get thrown off the train. You're like, what is that? Like, I need to know. Like hashtag Overwatch. So, and it's just absolutely amazing the amount of extra stuff Blizzard is doing for this game. It shows they care, and it shows that I care too. So
one of the pieces that, and I have to ask you guys, that just kind of bothered me a little bit. The comic was great. I really wish they would have done it in e-reader form because I had my tablet, as always, ready to go for any comic book that comes out. I have like a list of them on my my device. But what bothered me was like, okay, so
Hold
the website.
On. Breaking news: the Overwatch Uber truck got in a crash.
What? All right. Well, we'll look at that.
I saw that on Twitter. I thought it was next to the crash. I didn't realize it was actually involved in it. But the piece that I was weirded out by was the fact that I had to click every single frame of the comic, and I was just, something about that just like frustrated me a lot. I was like, Blizzard, there's got to be a no option, like a tick that I can say no, just open it. I can read comic books. I've been doing it for a while. But that was the thing that for me that was just like, everything was great but this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. At first, when I would start clicking it and it would just show that one section at a time, I was like really confused. I was like, wait, but where's the rest of it? And then I finally like figured out, oh, I have to click clipping. But yeah, I definitely agree. Like reading manga for a long time, reading comics for a long time, it's like you don't need to handhold us that much.
Yeah, hold on, guys. I'm getting you this breaking news as we're talking about this. Like, holy crap! Like, this was on Twitter. There you go, Overwatch truck, and it's actually a video. But yeah, the breaking news. There you go. You get to see the fallout. But yeah, I mean, Blizzard is they're handling this incredibly well, and as you can see, even in this crash video, there's this Soldier 76 Overwatch. Like, there it is, Overwatch, cream to car. Like,
I love the comment. Comments are even better. Person comments, "I've got you in my sights," or under my bumper.
Nice. Oh my gosh. But yeah, I mean, Blizzard has taken this to a whole new level. Like, they did it with Heroes of the Storm. They had Heroes of the Storm on ESPN2, and you saw the Heroes of the Storm stuff all over the place. Overwatch, they just took it to another level, which is probably why I'm more hyped for this game than I've been about any other Blizzard title. It just feels like they got it right from the get-go. So they're covering a lot of stuff. So those were the two big things within the community that got released that were kind of outsider and additional media. And there's going to be a lot more, guys. So keep your eyes peeled, keep your ears to the ground. Like, Overwatch, it's this phenomenon just sweeping the gaming community. So yeah, but don't forget. Again, I cannot stress it. April 29th. The pre-order digital goods are now in full effect. Tracer is in Heroes of the Storm. I really don't want to talk about her being in Heroes of the Storm because imagine, those of you who have played Overwatch know how annoying she is in the hands of a skilled person. Now imagine that exact same character in a MOBA. Okay, that's what Tracer is.
Perfectly.
That's what Tracer is. They took her again. Not to like get all up on Blizzard's junk and just like fanboy out again, but they took her from Overwatch to Heroes of the Storm perfectly. Like, there's no change. She's just as annoying and just as epic in Heroes of the Storm. Conchu knows. Conchu doesn't play Heroes of the Storm. He was having a blast playing her on Tuesday with me in One Eye. Like, she's in the game. All of the pre-order digital goods are in full effect. You need to go and pre-order now because you will get all your goodies. Get the Mercy Wings in Diablo. Those things look freaking sick. Like, I don't even play Diablo anymore. I'm going to go and probably start a new seasonal character just so I can rock those wings. Like, they look amazing. And then
is that a frog in a bubble?
Is that a frog in a bubble? Yeah, and then the Tracer, the Tracer hero trailer. You guys, even if you don't watch or play Heroes of the Storm, go watch that trailer because it embodies Tracer. That's her. I
haven't done a trailer for a hero in a while. It's just like going from murky to bright wing to bikini stitches. She's like, everything's so cute and adorable. Oh, it's Stitches. It's such a great video. And at the very end, she's staying next to Nova, and Nova transforms into Widowmaker. She's like, "What? Don't do that!"
Yeah. What? But yeah, so
that was beautiful. I like literally probably watched that one piece, just that one piece of it, like 6 or 7 times. I'm like, that's perfect. Rewind. Rewind.
Yep.
The animations are great for you.
Yep. So make sure you pre-order now. You pre-order while you're watching the podcast. You'll have your digital goodies by the time we're done. And you need something to fill the void of the Guardians not being alive. Go play. You enjoy your digital goodies. So yeah, we got that. And then we had some blue posts come down. We had a couple new minor patches, some map updates. They had a blue post on competitive mode. Conchu, you're kind of the big competitive guy. I don't know if you want to run down what those changes were. But they came down the pipelines. Hold on. What?
Tifa's the one playing competitive every night.
If she wants to cover it, she can cover it.
I think she's
welcome to. She's welcome to cover it. I think we can all probably speak pretty well on it. But Tifa, go ahead and let people know. I guess I'll throw out the one piece if you don't mind me jumping just over there real quick about my team. Envious, the best team ever, in my opinion. Disbanded over some challenges they were having. One was they were obviously in the process of trying to find that 6th man. They were going through tryouts a bunch, and they were just struggling and had internal issues of getting the team perfect the way they wanted it. And at one point, I won't name names, but a member felt that they were also, contributing to maybe some of the holdback. So at that point, they were down 2. And it just kind of from that point, they said, looks like it's just not working the way we want it to. The team members apparently have scattered to other teams. Tailspin, which is no surprise, is already looking at new offers. And more than likely, I got a few guesses who that might be. But I'll just let Tifa take over for what's been going on in Overkill GG. What's been up?
Yeah.
So actually, I've been playing competitive with some of the Envious guys, and a lot of them, like 4 of them, still play with each other, at least casually. So I think it's really been just an uphill battle for them because in the first beta before it took a break, they're really dominating. Like there was no team that could really touch them in like the weeklies and stuff like that. And then come Overkill, they just couldn't take a map off of anyone. And it was just I think it was just really at that point it was like something is clearly wrong, and they called it quits. So yeah, so sucks for them. But I'm sure that like they're all great, fantastic players. But I'm sure they'll find teams somewhere because there's a lot of new teams coming up too, and other orgs are looking to sign teams as well. But yeah, on the flip side, as far as NA go, Luminosity and Cloud9 are just killing it. They're just they really dominated. I think Luminosity, Cloud9 went undefeated in like the first day one. Luminosity lost like one map, but they're doing really well. As far as the EU side, I don't have a lot of insight into that, but yeah, IDDQD and Reunited are on top as usual.
Yep.
For the EU side. So
by the way,
cool.
guys, you heard it here first. Conchu in attendance. Yep, sucks for them. That's what you kind of heard me laugh. It's like Envious so dominating. They disbanded. Sucks for them. Like that's gonna be a hashtag. By the way, I think Cloud9 went what 6
I
6
think
and 0.
we had a good.
Huh?
Go for it. Go ahead. 6 and 0. What? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh.
What were you saying?
He wants me to comment. I'm just keeping my mouth shut.
It's all in good fun. All in good fun. I will bring you over to the Cloud Army.
Rip NBS, welcome our new Cloud9 overlords.
Yeah. Yeah.
For now.
Pretty much. Luminosity had some roster changes, which was interesting. They got rid of Pierre Rowe and who was the other person? There's one more. I forget, but Pooks is now on as their like main Lucio player, which is really cool. And they're still trying out for the last spot, as far as I know. They tried out a player called Gods. He did really well in the Overkill tournament with them, but I think at this point he's not a permanent member just yet. But that might change soon.
Sweet.
So good for them.
Sweet.
I think the best comment I saw of this when NBS disbanded was like, that's the first time I was like, I love that teams are already like forming and disbanding before the game's even out. And then I did a little memes of like Obi-Wan Kenobi in Revenge of the Sith, like, you were the chosen one, you were supposed to rule the beta, not disband it before it.
Yeah, I remember you responding to my post like that. I was like, oh man, that is just so perfect.
Yep. But hey.
But it is rumored. Yeah. It is rumored that they could very well come back. It's just it's a matter of time and finding the right people. So I don't think we can totally write them off just yet.
Yep. Right. For sure, MVS is looking to assign a new team. They're looking for players. So even if it doesn't include any of the players that they had before, I'm sure they would find a good group because the game is about to come out. And like you said, their level 4 is just killing it. So I'm sure there's tons of untouched talent out there. And we just from the ashes.
Yeah. So we'll have to see.
Another interesting thing I think that's been going on in the competitive scene right now is a lot of people are debating. After Blizzard came out with its ranked play, a lot of people have been debating, is stopwatch the best rule set for tournaments right now? And Ghost of Gamers actually came out with an article that talked about how they regret using stopwatch for all their weeklies, and then they proposed a new scoring system that basically what it does is a hybrid of ranked play and also the stopwatch play. So you're still rewarded for finishing the map faster than your opponent, but it's not as harsh where it's like a dead 7-minute mark or whatever. You still play to the end of the map, and if you still win, even if you didn't win as fast, you still get some kind of points for it. So it'll be interesting. No one has actually implemented their scoring system yet, but Esports Arena we might try it out, see how it works, because a lot of viewers have been saying how they don't like stopwatch because it's anticlimactic, and like it just sucks seeing like, oh, we didn't make it, sorry, oh yeah, just let them push the payload, and it's just and then Blizzard doesn't like it either because their full content of the game they feel like it's not being used, which we agree with. So I don't think that the scoring system most do it be a solution that's better for viewers than stopwatch, because in the end what counts is what the viewers watch and what people want to watch, and if people don't like stopwatch, even if the players like it better, well, there's just got to be a change if we want to have people to get excited about competitive Overwatch.
Yeah, I feel like stopwatch really, it's almost like you hit that certain point in the match where if the opposing team doesn't hit it that magical time, it's like GG, just let them push, and it's just that's not as much fun to watch. Like, you want to see both teams finish and then utilize the full content. So, but I'm excited to follow along, see what Esports Arena is going to do, because it's going to be a good time.
I'm really interested to continue the conversation on the competitive mode. I'm really interested to see what they're going to actually say about the speed of people ranking up. Because I know we had discussed before, hey, 1 month, 3 month, there's kind of a very fair side on both sides for saying you should have this one versus that one. But the team at Blizzard are kind of like, yeah, we're down for the 1 month, but we really need to know, can the players go through a rank system in 1 month? Can they actually do a whole season in 1 month and make it legitimate rank system? Now, the piece that I noticed right away, and I was like, oh yeah, they could easily do that, because I remember when we were going through, it actually had. I think you were with me, Veritech. We were like two solo people just running in, and there was a full 6-man team, and they just, like, for the first 30 minutes to an hour, people were just getting obliterated by the high skill teams that were 6-man up. And it was just like, look, I might as well just take my hand off the keyboard, push it back, and go, just do your thing, because when you got a bunch of solo people going in trying it out, and you got all these skill people, they sort themselves out real fast, because it just you notice a complete.
Yeah.
We started to notice that everything started to actually bounce out, where you had your high skilled players all the way up at the top. You don't ever really see them unless you're spectating somebody else, and then you have some of the lower people who are all fighting for the bottom of the chain, trying to get from advanced to maybe advanced 3. I think was the most common games I saw. So it'll be really interesting to see how they sort it all out.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest complaints right now is people are complaining that the ranking system isn't really a display of skill, but rather a display of how much you are able to grind. Kind of like with the Hearthstone is people have the same complaint with Hearthstone, where it's not really, it's not really like based off of like MMR. Well, it is. They do some MMR matchmaking. However, you tend to gain more points than you lose them, even if you have a 50-50 win-loss ratio. That only changes at Master Tier, which you gain only 20 for winning rather than the 40 win streak. But you also only lose 10 in sudden death. So it's like, it's hard to say, because a lot of people don't like that system when they say that it'll only be a month-long season, because you'll get to heroic maybe, as long as you play enough games and are decently good, right? And then once you get there, then the month resets, and it just feels like it isn't really a true display of where you are at in terms of like the whole Overwatch player base, but more of a display of how much time did you invest this month in ranked play, which I can definitely see their complaints.
Yeah.
I see this. Some of the biggest parts that are the challenge is what every game has, right? Between a solo queuer and a 6-man pre-made, it makes it very hard for a solo queue. Like myself, I've been trying to dig at getting up in the ranks, but man, going in solo, you got 5 people who are just willy-nilly it, just going in, go like, yeah, I know Overwatch, I'm level 20. 20. I think I saw like a 21 in there. It was like, okay, this is gonna go really interesting. And we just get obliterated, and you'd climb up, and you watch it go down, you watch it go up, watch it go down. But in 1 month, I'd be like, you almost require a pre-made team to even bother with ranked. And I have fears for that, for people who want to just really show if they can, as a solo player, as a person, make it in the ranked tiers, and maybe somebody will pick them up as part of their group. There's no way to role model that, right? I have no way to showcase, yeah, here's me in ranked, but I'm always with a solo queue, so there's no way to really measure me other than what I do with my team. Do I carry them and I maybe be able to rank up, or do they hold you down and you never actually get into the tiers where you're going to actually belong? So I'm concerned about that.
Yeah.
I mean, in what they're talking about, guys, is the competitive mode from the Blue Post, because really they're trying to kind of tweak the system. It shows that they're really wanting to figure out the best course of action. We discussed it a couple weeks ago about the length of seasons, and it came back that teams really like having that 1 month season. And when I went back and I really kind of sat down and thought about it, it's like, okay, you have kind of like 12 little mini seasons each year, and it's probably not going to be a bad thing. If you play a lot of Overwatch, matches don't really last super long. You can kind of plug them out as long as you dedicate some time. Much like Hearthstone, much like Heroes of the Storm. I mean, Blizzard is really focusing on team-based objectives and quicker competitive play, and they really want you to focus on having the ability. One of the things that was kind of passed out as a desire is they want to have leaderboards so you can check your historical display and kind of see what your journey is. Because if you're going to have 12 1-month seasons every year, you want to know that, okay, well, I was in Challenger 3 and now I'm in Advanced 2, and you want to watch your progression and see if you kind of regressed a little bit, and kind of so you can tweak your play a little bit, take competitive a little bit more seriously. But there were some blue posts this week that really kind of covered that. And once you get to Master Tier, like Tifa said, it's purely, you win, it's plus 20 points. You lose, it's minus 20 points. They want you to have more wins than losses to kind of justify why you're in there, because they've kind of struggled with that in Heroes of the Storm. I think somebody, back when they first had the rank system, somebody calculated it out, and you needed like a 37% win rate to hit rank 1, which was at the time and it still is for the time being, the top rank. And it's like, to be the best of the game, a 37% win rate is not it's not going to cut it. So once you get up to Master Tier, in order to get into those heroic ranks, you really have to prove that you deserve to be there. So it's just a flat linear plus 20 minus 20. Win more and you get rewarded, lose more and you fall out. So I'm excited for it. Like as a big competitive person myself, like I'm excited to see where I stack up, because I think I'm the greatest player ever. Like anybody that plays with me, you'll know if you're in comms with me, I'm constantly talking myself up. Like I had a stream on Thursday. My last game, I was on Junkrat. I went 29-2, and someone in chat was like, "You're a beast." I'm like, "You're not telling me stuff I don't know." Like, so it'll be nice to kind of check my ego against me being stuck in Advanced 3, for 3 months straight, because I'm not actually that good. But it'll be fun to use the system that they are wanting to implement to gauge your progression to see if you are in fact getting better at the game. So it's awesome. And also the sheer number of blue posts responding to the community and saying, yeah, we want this too. Yeah, we've thought about this. Yeah, we hear your concerns. Like, they're listening, and they want to make the game even better than it already is.
Yeah.
So
coming from my experience in Master Tier, it's actually not a pure 20 minus 20, because if you lose in sudden death, then you only lose 10 So there's that. It's not a big change, but it's that small little detail. But also like another interesting thing is okay, I totally forgot my train of thought. I had it and then it's gone.
That happens to me every day.
Let me see if I can remember. Nope, it's gone.
That's all right. Like an errant payload after a team wipe, it's gone. Like, just accept it.
Oh boy.
So, well, okay, now I remember. So, basically, in order to get to heroic when you're in master tier, you have to be in a group, at least like a 5 or 6 stack, because it's just that's like the most efficient way to get there. Because a 6 stack in cons, all good players who know each other will almost always win against 2 or 3 groups of players. And they did say that they're thinking about separating like a solo queue and like a group queue, which would be interesting. But then they didn't really give any definitive information on whether or not they're going to do that or how they're going to do that. So it's kind of still up in the air. So I'm curious to see what they go with that, because definitely for sure, like having played solo and having played in a group, the difference is huge. And it's yeah, I'm not sure how they're going to go about maybe separating the two. They said that separating it might have social complications where like you can't play with your friends because you don't want to play against 6 stacks or whatever, which I can totally understand. So I don't know. It seems like a problem that Blizzard will have to work on.
I think that's a great unintended consequences of splitting the community like that, where I'm like, yeah, I would love to have a chance to go solo queue and go against other solo people. That way I know the odds are a little bit more even. But I also see some things that are not necessarily inherent with just solo queue or just group queue. It's the challenge of One Piece that I can't beat any worse than I can now, but it's communication. And I wish they would honestly, for ranked, bring back a little tick for people that you would like to not queue with, because I would love to say negative on this person, because I remember I was externally I was zen, but internally I was like, I would choke you out, because I had this moment where we were in a critical moment. I'm sitting right there literally doing happy dance around the healer, and I'm talking over comms going, hey dude, just to your left, hey dude, and just oblivious, offense on world, must have been cranking music in their ear, just totally not knowing what's going on. I'm like, I do not ever want to queue with you again. So I think there's a lot of challenges, that they're facing, and I'm at least glad that they're trying this stuff out in beta, because most things you're like, you see competitive come out and it's like, wow, this is disastrous. But they're actually taking serious time. They have actual beta tournaments to really take the not just we're going to pretend to have a tournament. No, they have legit money on the table. They are trying it. These people are very serious about winning, and they're going to give their utmost feedback back to the team, just saying, this totally sucks, or hey, if you added these few things, it might work. So I think once this launches, people are going to have a very, very good time in competitive play.
Yeah, for sure. And I want the mode to be the best it possibly could be. So once they start kind of implementing these changes, and the game is almost literally 1 month out from being released. So we will see what these changes are when they go into effect, and obviously they're going to keep tweaking them. They did have some more patches. Just cover this real quick because we're running short on time again. We normally do this. We get in and we just start discussing because there's just so much to this game. But they did have 2 minor patches. Progression rewards, the portrait frames. They did away with the gold or the gray frames, and now everybody's frame is bronze. Once you hit level 100 and you promote yourself, or you get promoted, essentially, you start over at level 1, but you're actually level 101 because you have that 1 star. It denotes that you are level 100. Level 200s will have 2 stars in their portrait, and so on and so forth, which I think is cool because it was kind of confusing. You saw the bronze portrait and you're like, oh, they're level 100. You saw the 1 star and you're like, oh, they're level 100. Level 200. Holy crap! Like this is confusing. And so they just clarified it a lot, and and I like that change. And
Yeah, I'm so glad they did that.
Yeah.
I'm so happy.
yeah, it just makes it look much. It's much simpler. Maybe change the color of the base level 1 to 100 to something else, but other than that, I mean, it's simplified it. It's much easier to see who is at what level. So, they went ahead into that.
I almost wish that they would get rid of the portrait before the start and just maybe not, because at this rate, I think gold is 1200. I think 1200 levels.
Mm-hmm.
Which I wish that it would line up perfectly with the 1000, but I can see how that wouldn't work out.
Yeah. Yeah, so we'll see. I mean, I like that they're kind of tweaking it to make it a little less confusing. And I doubt it's going to be the last change for that. There were some map balance changes. The two of the maps that people who got to play on the stress test interacted with, Hanamura, they temporarily disabled it for a while. There were some issues with some of the points. I think people were able to glitch through walls. There were some real bugs with the map that they were able to flesh out having the stress test weekend happen. And so they disabled it and then brought it back in the game. I think it wasn't more than I'm not quite sure the time length, but I know that between one stream and the next, I saw Hanamura. I played on Hanamura. So I think it was just for like a 12-hour period or 16-hour period. But they found some bugs during the stress test weekend. Another issue people were running into on Route 66, which is a payload map, the payload was moving too fast through certain points. Like, you were able to just kind of choke up and wipe the enemy team defending. So they went ahead and slowed the payload speed by 10% on how fast it pushes. And then, like they've done with other maps, they adjusted health packs. They changed some health packs from large to small, some from small to large. They moved some back farther, they moved some closer, just so that there's not these drought areas. Because that was a problem that I ran into being a super aggressive player, is there were drought areas where you would have to run back too far away from the payload, whether you're attacking or defending, grab a health pack, and then run back. And so they kind of tweaked where the health packs are on the map. And so that was kind of a cool change too. And it made it kind of, it was a quality of life thing. It gave the defending team more of a chance to defend better, and have those health packs. Impacts, you guys have any thoughts on those impacts, or is it pretty straightforward?
I definitely felt like people won on attack more often than they won on defense for Route 66, so I like the change. I haven't played the map enough after the patch to really see if it made a huge difference, but hopefully it did.
Yeah, and I'll have to try it more too.
Yeah.
From my perspective, playing a lot of that map after the patch, it didn't feel like naturally it was any different. Like, if you were just playing, it'd be like, it still feels like the same game, right? Because there's really only two major chokes, and it's the very beginning and at the very end. That coming around the corner of the gas station, most people don't struggle with that. It's kind of an open area, a lot of people fighting all around, they get spread out. And then coming up around the bend of the western scene there, totally fine. Most people don't struggle too hard there, but man, is it the beginning and the end that are just death traps for everybody. And I think that's where most people are starting to say, well, the attacker could win or lose. And I think it really just comes down to, at the end of the day, composition. People have to understand the composition that they need together to get through those points. You can't run in with all Widowmakers and expect to get out of the point.
Yeah. Unless you're Koreans, which that's a tangent I'm not going to get off on. I will say I played with a Korean. He was like level
amazing.
Yeah. He picked Widowmaker at like level 4, and I'm like, crap, here we go again. It was on attack. You guys who play with me know I hate attacking Widowmakers. Like, it just irks me. On attack, the guy went 21-0, and I was like, all right, okay, redemption, cool. Still not going to change. But yeah, 6 Widowmakers on that map, just no. And then I feel like the biggest change to maps is on Volskaya. They moved the initial spawn points further back because they were having an issue with the defending team. Your spawn point is so far back. It's back behind spawn point B if you die on point A. But if you die as an attacker, it's just like, well, I just have to run around a building. I'm back in the spawn point. So they moved the points farther back. I haven't had a chance to figure or to play enough to see if it made that much of an impact. I would imagine it has. But it felt so snowbally on that map. Like you would get wiped as a defender and you're running back, and no matter what you did as a defender, the attackers, it seemed like they had a natural advantage on that map. So they pushed those spawns farther back. Yay or nay, guys?
I love it. I mean, I've stated on the podcast before how much I dislike Volskaya and how much that defending is just punishing. So I like any change I make to Volskaya.
Yeah. And
I definitely like it too.
Yeah.
I wish they did something for point B also.
Yeah.
Because I feel like one of the major problems with that map was after capturing objective A, a lot of times if the attacking team was fast enough to get to point B, it would just be done. It was like there's no really good places to set up quickly on that map because it's such an open room around point B. So I kind of wish they did something for point B too, but hopefully, yeah, it definitely helps for point A for sure.
Yeah.
So one of the tricks that we had figured out early on with that map was after capturing A, you would typically come in with 2 tracers and a Lucio, which seems really soft and squishy. But after we capture A, Lucio would drop his speed. It would carry the tracers charging up because they're just running along. They're not actually darting around. They'd get to the point. Now you have 2 tracers, a Lucio on the point. We would have 1/3 of that point captured before the enemy team would respawn and be out in the middle. And it was just brutal. We did it every time that we had an opportunity, and it crushed the enemy team. So it's nice to see they're seeing those type of things happen and trying to make changes where it's reasonable.
Yeah. And then there were 2 hero balance changes that we'll cover real quick. Last week we covered McCree, his alternate fire recovery time. We covered his flashbang after he's done throwing out the flashbang. They changed his alternate fire recovery time, which is, I believe it's when he fires all 6 shots. I don't remember what it's called. But they changed it from 0.3 seconds to 0.75 seconds, which is essentially the time that he has to recover before he can fire again. Which is really nice because if anybody flashbanged you and missed, they immediately had it again to shoot to just empty their clip into you. There's no clip in a revolver, but they empty all 6 rounds into you. So they upped that, and then they also changed Zenyatta's Harmony Orb, his healing orb, now increased from 25 health healed per second to 30 healed per second. Still has 150 health though. Hashtag Blizzard, please fix. But so those were the 2 hero balance changes. Guys, any thoughts about the McCree or the Zenyatta tweaks?
Thank you on both. McCree was one of the ones I was just like, I hate him with a massive passion. And then on Zenyatta, I'm actually pro the change. I think that the line of sight thing really kind of put a wrench in things in the low health. It was just a pain in the butt to play Zenyatta. I would avoid him and just say, look, I'd rather chase you down with a Mercy and put the risk there than really put a Zenyatta on the field. But now with that extra little boost, I turn around. Even when I have a Zenyatta hit me, I'm like, holy crap, what my health bar is just creeping up pretty fast. So it's nice to see that.
Yeah, I definitely think that both of these changes were kind of perfect because like they said in their comments, McCree was just doing tons of damage. He could melt a Reinhardt in two revolvers, right? 2 loads of his ammo. And now it forces the McCree players to use their primary fire more, which I think is what they're going for more when they thought up of McCree. And he just, even with just 1 shot, he does a ton of damage. But it kind of encourages people to actually aim a little better and get those headshots and stuff like that, which is great. I also think the Zenyatta change is really, really needed. I almost wish they would add one more thing to him, like instead of making it the orbs fall off at 3 seconds, maybe make it at 6 seconds. I feel like that would help him without breaking him. But yeah, definitely the increased healing was something that was super needed on him.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll kind of let it play out until Monday to see how the changes take effect. But those are your hero and your mapped updates. With those out of the way now, I've been chomping at the bit to do this, and we're short on time, but hopefully we'll be able to efficiently discuss this. For those of you who have already seen the Fall of Titan video that GameSpot has put out in Part 1, those of you who are watching live right now or are able to watch the VOD, you're about to see the screenshot. Those of you who are listening to the audio, go check out the video. It's about 15 minutes and 25 seconds in. If you look on the right-hand side, they're playing a developer match. One of the developers gets up from his chair. But before he does that, there's something on the screen. I'm about to throw it up. I apologize for the potato quality because no matter how much enhancing you do on YouTube, when you zoom in, it still looks like crap. So this is not Bigfoot.
Dance.
This is not Bigfoot. All right. So let me just let you know right now. So there's the developer sitting on the screen. There's his screen circled. Now, a lot of people have said this looks like Widowmaker's white skin tint. The problem with that is, yes, it has a rifle. The scope is different. The face doesn't, it looks more like a hood than it does actually like her visor. And if you look in the upper right hand corner, if you go and watch the video and look in the upper right hand corner of the screen where the hero name is, if it was Widowmaker, and this is just me theorizing, if it was Widowmaker, it would be a lot longer, and it's a short white name. So the theories that I've seen are it could be Sombra, because Reaper already has a line in the game that says, "Where's Sombra when you need her?" And it could be Athena. And then the other theory is that it's just developers messing around and they're just using Widowmaker to test out, like her Widowmaker model to test out a new hero coming. But you'll also notice, those of you who have played, if you look really carefully, he's highlighting a character in the support section. And someone said, well, it could just be highlighting Widowmaker and he's mousing over Lucio, because that's where Lucio's portrait normally is. But you know, these are the theories, and I know Azax and I have talked. Azax, you know, the group, the Guardians, have talked about this when the video was released yesterday. And Azax originally thought that it was just Swan Lake Widowmaker, and I said, no, it doesn't line up. And then he took a screenshot, and the colors are kind of similar, but again, the models just don't line up. Guys, what do you feel like this was a deliberate leak? Do you feel like that's just Widowmaker? Do you feel like it's an older build? Like, what are your thoughts? Who is that in the video?
I'm not going to name names specifically. I do feel that Sombra's more likely. The challenge that I have is I know that it's got to be a deliberate Easter egg, because I'm sure marketing team probably pruned this video and said, that's fine. That's not going to kill anybody. It's enough to get you hyped, but not enough to tell a story yet without our intervention. And I think that's what they want to do, is they're so excited about their baby, they want to show it, but they're not allowed to show it yet. So this is the closest they could get to showing it off. And I think just as all gamers are that are super into lore and whatnot are combing this thing, like there cannot be enough Minority Report and enhancing going on just this one little image, or me the entire movie and going around looking for what type of model cars people are driving by the keys on their desk. But yeah, I think I'm gonna put my vote in for Sombra. Is definitely gonna be it.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you. There's actually another part in the video where they're working something on Photoshop, and it looks like a scope. And then people did some digging, and they looked at Sombra, and she has this one like triangular shape on her head, and in the scope, it's the same shape.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Azax, you've been quiet, man. What do you think?
Like, oh, it's like Sombra scope.
Sombra. I mean, that scope was kind of the thing that kind of led me, like, when I saw the scope and then like the Sombra like visor, I was like, okay, it's the exact same. So I'm on that train. I like the idea that it's Farah's mother.
Yeah, and let me.
So
yeah.
So one of the things that I did, and I didn't end up sharing it because I figured, okay, now I'm just digging way too deep in the rabbit holes. I actually took that photo that you see down, I guess, in our chat. But if you look at that, take that into Photoshop and change the white balance and contrast on there, you can get pretty dang close to what they show on the screen. And that's what really tilted me. I mean, there was a lot of theories out there, but if you actually play with that in Photoshop, it's pretty interesting how close that image gets to each other. So I'm really thinking that it's going to be Sombra, and I think that the scope hint was pretty much spot on in saying, yeah, you really can't get any more things that line up. Now, if they totally trick us, well played, but I'm willing to bet that it is.
Yeah, and for those of you who are watching right now, I have a picture pulled up, and you can see this is actually straight out of the game. Like, if you go into one of the maps, I think it's Temple of Anubis, this picture is sitting in like a dossier file. And as you can see, it looks, and obviously it's really crappy because it's a crappy quality picture, but it looks like, blue face, which in the video it's a blue face. It looks like it has a hood, which it kind of lines up with what Widowmaker's color is on her scopes, or her mask, her visor, but it just doesn't, like, this seems to be pretty plausible. Now, again, Blizzard has also been known to be master level trolls. So this could just be like they threw a Sombra skin on there and they're like, Hugh, we're making a video. Let's cause, the internet to go into a tizzy. Like, this is actually Widowmaker. But I'm putting my money on that it's Sombra. Like, we know that there's Soundquake coming, Sombra is coming, Doomfist has been rumored to come. Again, Doomfist, I could spend a half an hour talking about the lore of him, but pretty much there have been 3 Doomfists. Essentially, whoever wears the gauntlet is Doomfist. So I'm sure they're trying to figure out who's actually going to be the character to play him. But the 2 that really, are coming, Sombra, because there's already voice lines, there's already files in the game that concern her, and Soundquake, because he was in the promo video, and again, if you look at this picture, he's over here on the left, right? This is him, and they're talking about in the Overwatch trailer in BlizzCon 2014. The little kid was talking about Soundquake. He fires missiles out of his chest. So obviously they thought about that, but this little nugget, it made people go crazy, and I immediately paused the video and looked too, because I'm like, wait, hold up, like, it didn't move like Widowmaker. It didn't, like, I could see the rifle that was kind of like Widowmaker's model, but my explanation for that is because Sombra is still not fleshed out, they're probably just using one of my lights just burned out, but they're probably just using some of the assets that are already in game until they can finish designing it. And like Tifa said, they had a scope open in Photoshop. They're just probably trying to put everything together, but it made everybody go crazy because, like, oh my god, like an Easter, Blizzard's, they're at it again, like, so. It was kind of cool, and I really implore you guys, if you haven't done so, video is in the link, or the video link is in the description below the podcast. And for those of you who aren't watching, just go search The Fall of Titan. It's a GameSpot video on YouTube, and check it out. It's really good, really good. But they could just be fooling us, so we'll have to wait and see. And that discussion actually went much smoother and shorter than I thought it would. But that pretty much covers it for episode 12 of The Guardians. Hopefully you guys you feel much more informed. Like every week, we try and cover the entire community for you, and we really try and focus on the extras that Blizzard does, because it shows that they care. They want this game to succeed as much as we want it to succeed as consumers. So again, if you haven't done so, go ahead and pre-order. The Guardians has also been running a giveaway for the last week. It got unveiled last week, and I'll go ahead and throw that graphic up. If you go over to the Guardians Overwatch, or Guardians Twitter page, it's at Guardians OW on Twitter. It's pinned to the top. It's also pinned to the top of my personal Twitter page. It's pinned to the top of Azax's Twitter page. I believe it's pinned to the top of One Eye's Twitter page. And the link to sign up is there. Sign up. We're giving away free copies of Overwatch. 8 copies. 2 people are going to get upgraded to the Origins Edition. You don't want to miss it. You don't want to miss it. And, I mean, it's for you guys. We love this game. We want you to love it too. So go sign up. Don't delay. You still have some time. I think there's 30 or 31 days left. We're running it up until the day before launch, just to give anybody and everybody equal footing, equal chance to sign up. So make sure you head over to Twitter and click on that link and hit it up for that giveaway. Before we do our closing shout-outs, is there any ideas, you guys, that are on your mind that you want to get off your chest? Anything that you experienced this week in Overwatch that kind of really stood out to you? Anything that you really just feel like needs to be vocalized? Anything that happened that was really good? Anything that happened that you really wish you're like, crap, I need to really talk about that because that kind of grinds my gears? Anything at all? The floor is open before we go ahead and close this.
I got a triple kill on Route 66 by blasting people off the cliff with Lucio. That was my good thing of the week.
Nice. I know Conchu got a quadra kill on Route 66 with Reaper. Brought a tear to my eye, and he even used the Nevermore skin. So like I felt like a proud papa when I saw that. I was like, yes.
The one moment you see me out of my comfort zone, it was weird how it was surreal. Like the whole world slowed down. And I'm like, no, they're not. No, oh yeah, they are just all gonna go. Okay, fine, here we go, and just go in and bam, quadra kill. And what sucks is that if it had been just a few seconds shorter, it would actually have been a full team wipe because the other two were right there. Like there was just a variable difference of the other two that were running around the edges. That I killed the fifth. The sixth one actually just died before I did the quadra kill, and then the fifth one was just like right around the gas tank area, and I got to him, but unfortunately, it just didn't capture it. But it was pretty cool to see that. Also, what was it? There was a swinging headshot kill with Widowmaker that I pulled off. That was cool. But I also found some things that frustrate me. There are Mays that are better than me out there, and I am looking for them, and I will kill them. All of them.
A lot of them.
But if they're better than you,
I was like, it's been a while because most people get frustrated by my May because I'm a little brutal when I come play with my May, but there was this one that literally we would freeze each other at the exact same time. So we'd both be sitting there, then we both wall at the same. It was just like it was playing with your poor phrasing, but playing with yourself. It's a mirror that you just every move you made, that person made a counter move.
Yeah.
Sniping shot, icicle shots, just dead on. I actually died to one of theirs, but we were shooting each other same time, peeking around. It was just so weird to play with somebody who was almost the exact mirror of yourself. So that's my excitement for the week.
Sweet. Well, I guess that just about wraps it up. Azax, where can people find you at on social media?
At AZAX Gaming on Twitter, at ACAX Gaming. You can find me there and on Twitch and right here every Friday.
Sounds good. Tifa, where can people find you when you're not on the podcast or working at Esports Arena in sunny Southern California?
Oh, so nice. You can find me on Twitter. It is Tifa, Tifa, please, PLS. Very simple. My DMs are open. Come chat with me. Or find us here, right? On Guardians.
Yep. At our Twitter, Guardians Overwatch, and here every Friday. And Conchu, man, it's been a pleasure having you. Like, that's 3 weeks in a row. Where can people find you at?
You can find me up on Twitter at twitter.com/Conchu or on YouTube Gaming, gaming.youtube.com/Conchu.
Yes, Conchu is my night shift counterpart in the Overwatch streaming department on YouTube Gaming. And as for myself, Veritech GG on Twitter, Veritech GG on YouTube, or you can just search for Veritech. I have made enough of an impression that I am now the top search result. So you can find me there. You can subscribe. I stream daily. I did not stream yesterday because my internet was out. Thank you, internet provider. But it is back, obviously, because we're streaming. And every Friday, right here on the Guardians, only on YouTube Gaming. For the rest of my co-hosts, I am Veritech. And we will catch you guys next Friday. We will have a show, even though Overwatch will only be up for a day, because I'm sure they're going to be releasing some more content for the community. So don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. For those of you listening on the podcast, make sure you tune in every week. We do our best to upload it immediately as soon as the podcast is over. I was a little late last week just because of the stress test. I was having too much fun destroying people and playing with my fellow streamer friends. And I will make sure that I get it up by the end of tonight. So look for it there. Again, I am Veritech. For my Guardians co-hosts, we will catch you next Friday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. See you then.